You got a big one in there. Button. Yes, I can. Very active, subtle ledge. They're eating the 5-inch Scented Jerk ShadZ with the eyeballs on it. See the eyeballs? I think they make a difference. Did it make a difference? Yes, it did. It's going to be like this, then come all the way back, and then like this. And it's designed to really turn your boat. Come here, you. Getting much in the way of, you know, chasing any fish, chasing baits, but this one, as soon as I dead sticked it on the this little ledge here, very subtle disturbance right on the surface, and yeah, that's a good one. You just need to move 4 feet in this direction. So what you're doing is you're doing the catch where you're inserting the blade out here and you're bringing it into your hip. Once you get stopped, you also need to make sure that you're not backsliding, you know, away from it, because all that's going to do is to drag this along. And it really wasn't the bite to have this bait moving, tumbling. It had to be absolutely dead sticked. Yeah, chunks, chunks. Let's see.
How many fish can you catch up here
in a day?
Yeah, I know it's fishing. You can't guarantee anything, but you can have 20, 30 fish days.
Yeah, you'll have that today. So there's the river. I'm taking my buddy Matt kayak fishing for the first time ever.
The first time ever.
So how many times do you have me on your electric only, John? Couple dozen
times, yeah. So quite a few times.
We're going on the Susquehanna, and it's low. It's kind of drizzly, and I think we're going to catch them up.
That's perfect.
She bony, skinny. My preference, because I do whitewater, I want to know, I want it to work unconditionally, and a regular PFD is going to work regardless. I'll give you a shove off. I'm just going to tell you to grab the paddle and just paddle around and just get used to what it feels like to move the boat with your paddle. You're always going to want, you see where it says Odyssey? This is your power face. This is the part that you want facing backwards because it's going to move the most water. Okay. If you're doing it the other way, it's less efficient. So you want, see where it says Adventure Technology? You want that on top, facing forward, Odyssey facing back.
Okay.
All right, in order to have your hands in the right position, I want you to take the paddle, put it on top of your head like this. Do you see my elbows, that they're roughly at a 90-degree angle? Yeah. You want your hands to go, yep, a little wider like that. So that's your box. And I want your box to always remain a box. And you're twisting your torso side to side as opposed to paddling with your arms. See how if you paddle with your arms, your box has become a triangle, not a box. So keep that box in its shape, and you're kind of doing sideways sit-ups. Twist all the way to the side. The best way to do that is to keep track of your vision, where you're looking at where the blade goes into the water and comes back. I'm physically looking back at where my blade went.
Okay.
You can't do that and not rotate your torso. There are 3 parts to any paddle stroke. There's the catch, where you insert the blade into the water. The power phase, which is when you move it either along the boat, or we'll show you a different path to turn the boat, and then the recovery where you pull it out of the water. The catch and the recovery should be clean, as opposed to that was clean, this is not. What's the difference between when I do an insertion, which is a good catch, and then I go into the power phase, and where I just go straight into the power phase? Huh? Catching a lot of air, spooking a lot of fish, and you're being inefficient with the paddle stroke throughout the path. So the forward stroke, I want you to do that as we move out into the river. It goes along the length, it goes in a straight path along the length of the boat. So keep it near the boat. Now do it on the other side. Yep, keep doing that. Keep moving it forward. So the sweep stroke is designed to turn the kayak, whereas when we did the forward stroke, it went along the side of the boat. When we do the sweep stroke, it's going to start next to the boat. At the midpoint, it's out away from the boat, and when you're done, it comes back to the boat. So it's this arc, this half circle away from the boat, as opposed to a line along the edge of it. Does that make sense? Okay, that was a good circle, half circle, but you want to get the blade all the way in. Yes. Sweep. Yes, that is a sweep. That's a good sweep. Okay, nice. Now, give me a reverse sweep on the opposite side, on the side closer to me, by putting it in here at the back and doing that half circle. Yes, now do a forward sweep on the other. Yep, forward sweep on one side and reverse sweep on the other. It's going to be like this, then come all the way back, and then like this. And it's designed to really turn your boat efficiently. I'm gonna bump into you, but that was it. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna move in this direction, just laterally, and it could be that, hey, you got your bait stuck on the root ball there, and if you go forward, it's still gonna be behind you or whatever. You just need to move 4 feet in this direction. So what you're doing is you're doing the catch where you're inserting the blade out here and you're bringing it into your hip, right? That moved it a little bit, but what we're gonna do next is we're gonna rotate the paddle blade 90 degrees and it's gonna slice out, and then we're gonna rotate it again and draw it in. So it's this series, and I'm gonna do this out of the water so you can see it. But you see how I'm moving laterally? Yeah. It looks like this out of the water. You got it? I don't even have to explain it. You got it. You're doing it. I got it. Draw. So if you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, how do you spread the peanut butter on the bread? With a knife. A knife. Yeah. What do you do with a knife? You go like this, and then this, and you change the blade at like a 30-degree angle, and it looks like this in the sculling draw. You want to keep your top hand high, and all of the work is your bottom. You're moving that bottom one in towards your hip, and it'll really move you good. Yep.
I'm going to use this one for?
Getting lures unsnagged from the bank, or if you're running through a rapid and you're about to hit a rock that's there, and you'd really rather not hit the rock and be there.
Do we go upstream or downstream?
We will go upstream. Let's get you using the motor.
Okay.
You're gonna, on your right side, there's a cleat. Push it all the way down.
I still have it in my hand.
All right, there you go.
That all the way down?
It's almost all the way down. Just let go of it.
Okay.
There you go. Now, Put your feet on the foot pegs and just move it side to side. You will have to release with one foot before you push with the other for it to work. Mash it and feel it. So I'm starting out with the 7-inch Scented Jerk Shad and made a chartreuse weight on it. I don't know if that'll make any difference. Probably not. It's moving pretty fast, but just thought it'd be something fun and different. Just throwing the Nessie up on this ledge. Had something swirl on it. Let it actually settle down because I actually had to put this 5-inch Scented Jerk Shad on, but I know there's one in there, so kind of moving and let him eat. Because he's going to eat it. Here's one.
Hey, look at that.
Screw this. Chop a lot. I got this guy. A big one, but might be a good lure to hand off to Matt, just so he enjoys kayak fishing and river fishing, because it is fun to see him blow up on top water. Come over this way. Let's get in the middle of the river, man. I've been throwing the subsurface crankbait, getting a lot of this snodgrass. I know they'll eat it, but I don't know how long that I can keep it in the water before it just fouls up with this filamentous algae, green snot. So I feel like giving Matt a little bit of room just to figure it out is a good thing. I know in teaching theory, this is called, what is it, guided discovery. Like, just give him room, let him try stuff. Good fish. I had to dead stick the 5-inch Scented Jerk Shad to get this bite, and you know, if I can get Matt to come up here and do some of this, I think he might enjoy it. Hi. Nice to see you.
Start recording. Let's go another one.
That's a good fish. Come here, you. Really not getting much in the way of, you know, chasing any fish, chasing baits, but this one, as soon as I dead sticked it on the this little ledge here, very subtle disturbance right on the surface, and you know, that's a good one. He's either closed mouth. Yep, I'm gonna get you to 18. Right on 18 inches. So Matt has very much been using the boat as an aid to wading. Just been moving upstream with it. We just got through a whole lot of really skinny water there. It was tough going with the motor, but we've got to this Yeah, this mountain creates these ledges, and we got a little bit deeper water here in front of us. And that 18 was right at the beginning of it. You can see that disturbance, that linear. It was somewhere in that right there. All right, so I have two different scented jerk shad. This is the 7-incher, which I've been fishing very fast on the surface. It's really fun when they smash it on the surface and chase it, and you see those reverse wakes coming out after it in skinny water. Hasn't happened. It was the first little bit of deep water, and most of my fish, I think I have 4. I got one on the Chapo in pretty good current. That 18 just ate this, and a couple others in, just on current seams. So, and for the most part, it's been this sort of presentation where you just put it out near the subtle disturbance and you leave it alone, and you just wait for it to load up. So it's very much a dead sticking presentation. You check on it. If you pull on it and it's moving, try again, try a different spot. If you pull on it and, well, you feel a fish throb, that tells you all you need to know. I hope we get some part of the day where we have a moving bait presentation where we can chuck something and just chuck it and wind it and cover a lot of ground, because when you can do that, you get your bait in front of more fish. But I have I've downshifted quite a bit to a very finesse presentation. Dead stick out in space and out in front of this grass bed. Get you in here. Get you on your way. Look at that. Look at that parasite on his tail. Fork that off for you, buddy. Gotcha. Hey, cleaned him off. This was on the same ledge that 18 was on. Not as big, but there's, it seems that if you find one that's decent, there's going to be some other ones in there. Yeah, you just throw back into my stuff. Little chunker. 14 probably. Back in there right away. It just loads up. We move with it. There we are. Pressure on them. It's a little better. But you're a nice fish. Subtle little ledge, first little bit of depth, and I think it helped that I left that area as soon as I caught the 18 and kind of let it reset maybe, but they're in there. A bunch of them. So it's important to come up on them slow, because if you do it abruptly, they feel that tug. Get that out of there. Reset, get a little closer. As I approach it, I'm trying to stay back enough that they don't feel me moving in on them. Put it right on that current seam. Problem here is I was drifting towards it a little bit, so if I got a bite, I might have had slack in the line. You do not want to have slack in the line. It's a subtle thing to feel, but you definitely want it sitting on bottom. Yeah. You didn't hit it till it was sitting still. A lot of them in one place for sure. That's what happens when it gets low and clear. You find a pot of them. It's funny I caught the big one first. These are nice fish. Usually you catch a bunch of the smalls before the big one. I don't know, there's probably still another big one in there. That one feels more substantial. Come here. Come here. He jammed it as soon as it came. Oh, he's running at me. He's running at me. Which way are you gonna run? Oh, that's a good fish. Yeah. I was hoping there's another big one in there. That's you. Another big one in there. Button. Yes, I can. Yes. Nice. It's an active spot for sure. Very active. Subtle ledge. They're eating the 5-inch scented jerk shad with the eyeballs on it. See the eyeballs? I think they make a difference. Did it make a difference? Yes, it did. So this thing right here only does its job when you have the right amount of line tension, and that means it's Sharpie time. Let me show you what you need to do to maintain line tension appropriately in two different situations where it's kind of difficult to do that. All right, so here I am sneaking up behind these fish. And I know they're there because I see this disturbance and I've already caught one out of there, and I just figure there's a bunch more. What's critical is that you get stopped. And really what that looks like is, well, let's talk about if you're not stopped. If you're not stopped and you cast into this mess and you deliver it to right where it needs to be, this straight line as you move up to this position, because if your motor or your paddling or your pedal drive or whatever it is that propels you forward moves you from there to there, all of a sudden your rod is here and you have this slack, and that slack means you will not feel these fish bite. Okay, so slack is the enemy. We're going to talk about another example of slack, but you have to get stopped. Once you get stopped, you also need to make sure that you're not backsliding, away from it, because all that's going to do is to drag this along. And it really wasn't the bite to have this bait moving, tumbling. It had to be absolutely dead sticked. And if you're moving away from it or towards it, you're not going to have this taut line of the bait just sitting still. So before you even make a cast, get yourself stationary and make the long cast, and keep your rod up so where you can really see what this line is doing. So the second scenario where it's really tough to feel the dead stick bite on this bait is when you're casting cross current. I'm going to go ahead and do another illustration that shows multiple different approaches to fish in the same eddy, and show you the one that's successful and show you one where there's a lot of slack in the line caused by the current. Same thing can happen with the wind. Wasn't really windy today, so that wasn't an issue. But for sure the current, they were near current, and if you're line laid in the current a certain way, you are not feeling this bite. Let me do this other illustration. All right, this one was sort of a side view. This one is more of a top-down view, and for sure we had these little ledge rocks going across. They weren't always super visible, but if you read the little surface boils, you could see where the rock was coming up towards the surface, and that's kind of what I'm showing here. You can for sure do the same thing with an exposed rock and a real obvious eddy, but these were very subtle ones that didn't stand out. But basically, you've got fast current pushing through here, current pushing through here, and here, and a little bit here. And this is calm water, calm water, calm water, and so on. And basically, the approach that worked the best for me is when I was stopped and I was in this position and I was making that cast where my line would lay across this calm part. What doesn't work is if you move up into a position like this and you cast across this current, because at some point this current here is gonna basically do this to your line, and that is slack. That is the same bite detection deadening curvature that you're having here. It's just that in this case it's from you moving towards it and having slack. So you have to get stopped, and you need to make sure that your line is laying in water that is still, and from the downstream position up into it definitely works from this position. The other thing that you can do, say if this is an exposed rock, you can come down and position your kayak right on it and get stopped and then cast down into this area. You know, whatever you need to do to make sure that when your line lays down on the surface, that there's not current that's pushing it away. Hopefully this top down shows that concept. So you need a really sensitive rod for this presentation. This one's actually a medium light. It's a Eternity RX10, one that I built myself, and I forget what's a 72 ETES 72 ml. So it's a medium light. I have medium light, a medium, and a medium heavy in the Eternity RX10, and these are the most sensitive. I think everyone says that, but I've used a lot of really high-end rods over the years, and these are, the Eternity RX10 is special. It helps to have that sensitivity because it's not a weightless presentation, but it's nearly weightless. Like with that weight, that just felt like grass. That banana shaped weight that's on there, you don't feel it resting on rock the same way you do a ball head, or man, a football head. You really feel on the rock. You might feel the tap, but more than that, you're just gonna feel that build and pressure that's the signature, like, hey, I've got it, and I'm just kind of moving over here with it confidently. We like to feel that tap, which I just did. I missed him, but I don't know, there's a whole lot of vibration and feel that you get with this blank, with braided line, that makes a difference. Like you know, if you're not feeling these bites, if you're not feeling what's happening out there, if you're not feeling that slow build and line tension, which I'm not going to feel it now because I zoomed towards it and I've slacked the line, but all of those things really make a difference in having a good rod. You know, the Eternity RX10 is special. That happens, you know, you wreck them. I got a bunch on that spot, and then they kind of scatter because you catch, I don't know how many got there. I got 2 big ones. 2 18s. Pretty cool. See if I can find another spot like that. Hopefully Matt's up there. I see him up crawling around the ledges. So right now I'm kind of drifting towards the target, and this is not good form for this dead stick presentation because I'm moving towards it. There is slack in the line right now, and if I get one to eat, I don't know it. So I either have to be moving it, which is not what they're eating. They're eating it when it's sit on the bottom, or I don't know, I got to do something else with this bait. The moving presentation, I think I can get them to eat this moving, like skittering, but it's not what this bite has been. Okay, let's move to deeper water. I think on the macro view of where I got those 2 18s, it was the beginning of a lot of deep water, and I've moved back into shallow. So I'm in move mode, but I'm still doing this dead stick presentation. What that looks like is I pop it in a spot and I make sure it gets to the bottom. And if it doesn't happen, I don't do a second cast to the same spot. Here's a likely looking spot. On this ledge, you invest the time for one good presentation, maybe 2, and then you move on. And I don't mean an entire area, but like this eddy, if there's a good fish there, I think you should have ate it by now. I haven't done this eddy though on the left. So, you know, you let it, you try to be patient with each one. And that's hard to do when you're just like in go mode and you're like move. That's a good one. I'm looking to see if he's got friends. I've stumbled into just one fish. If I have, I've ruined the spot. You're a chunky monkey. Oh, yeah, chunks, chunks. Let's see. So, especially in clear water, I always like to look beyond the fish that I have hooked and see if it's just him and that one was just him, or whether you have a pile of them that are active in that area. That one's got some habits. It's fat. Longies. Got some real weight to it. Round fish. Round. That's a fat one. I could make this one go 18. I'd have to really work with it, but it was really heavy one. For 18 inches. 3 pound, 4 ounce. Beautiful fish. Let's see it. I didn't even get back into good position to make that cast. Kind of did one over the shoulder here. A big group of them here. another group floating down here. I'm gonna scoot around them. What's happening?
Hey, what's happening? See, there's some other fishermen coming down, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yep. They got close. I said I'm gonna scoot around.
They what?
They got close. I said I'm gonna scoot around.
Oh, nice. You're having a good old time down there, it looked like.
Yeah.
That's good. What are they eating, that shad?
This 5-inch Scented Jerk ShadZ.
Sweet.
Like over and over again. Coming around that rock for me. Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of them here. Looks like that's hooked up. Get them on the paperweight.
Put them on the paperweight. Even a blind squirrel can get a nut, huh?
You're no blind squirrel. Did see a bigger one. Chase it though. It might be time to come back and throw some baits that they will chase. The air is moving a little different. You know, sometimes when the wind shifts, it makes sense to try power fishing again. What am I gonna do? I think I'm gonna do this. I like to throw push water right on the upstream side of these ledges down into the real skinny stuff right before it speeds up. I've given it another 15 minutes of throwing the Nessie, and one or two that followed it to the boat and didn't eat. So, feel like nothing's changed, even though I thought the wind was giving me a different, I don't know, different opportunity. But we'll go back to the dead stick 5-inch Scented Jerk ShadZ with the itMolds. Time to start heading back. I bought these, I think I got 2 of these. These are the cull ShadZ. Some time ago. Man, that's a slow rate of fall. And I've yet to use them, so I figured if they weren't going after the Nessie, we'll give the cull ShadZ a try. Oh, I finally had one, hit a moving bait. That one hit the cull ShadZ. I horsed him, I think. Huh. Oh, skinny water. Skinny water. Everywhere. As soon as I go back to dead sticking.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
As soon as I went back to dead sticking, they jump on it. Any of that moving water on the left is worth casting at.
Right there?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, that was just out in open space. Like, oh, are you kidding? He's off. How'd you get off? Very little water at all. I saw the reverse wake and threw at it. I dead sticked it. They ate it. But I didn't poke them. Alright, we're cruising back to the truck. Had a good day with the scavenger bite. I call it the scavenger bite because this just looks like a dead minnow that just lays there for them. So they're not being predators, they're being scavengers. And bass, you know, smallmouth, river smallmouth are definitely scavengers. People think of catfish as scavenger, but man, these smallmouth, they will not pass up a dead sticked soft plastic minnow. Tried doing the working, you know, the moving baits quite a bit through the crank and the jackhammer, and the 7-inch scented jerk shad fished fast, and through the Nessie and through the I actually got a couple bites even though I didn't land them on the cull shad, but the reliable bite was dead sticking this bait right here. 5-inch scented jerk shad with the eyeball on it. I did a Instagram reel that shows how to do it if you're curious about how to put the eyeballs on the Aztec. It's pretty simple, but check it out. It's Jeff Little Kayak Fishing is my Instagram account. Dig around in there, you'll find it. Thanks for watching.